Last month, I didn't upload a video. I went to the June launch and hoped to upload a video launching my first ever rockets. But it didn't go so well.
4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay, that's pretty low.
Uh-oh.
4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and we have some skywriting. Alright.
I didn't want to just upload a boring video of some failed launches, so I made a plan for some redesigns for a successful launch come July. One of the first things I did was redesign the motor mounts to reduce weight by using less printed parts. In my last design, I had attempted a rather bulky 3D printed motor mount, but by utilising a combination of cardboard, balsa, and 3D prints, I was able to drastically cut down on weight. Being rather new to the hobby though, I was still learning building techniques like through-the-wall fins and different varieties of fin tabs. In my first couple iterations, I was using balsa fins that required a slot cut through the entire end of the body tube. I later learnt that tabs are better suited for this, to avoid making those large slots which weaken the strength of the tube. These changes helped with two of the major issues I was facing at the June launch: weight and centre of gravity. By reducing the weight of my rockets, I should now be able to fly higher on lower class motors. Specifically though, by reducing the weight in the motor mount, I was also able to move the centre of gravity forwards, giving the rocket more stability to avoid skywriting. With my new rockets and open rocket simulations in hand, I was ready to head out for the July launch. Since I made this introduction, I've also made the addition of a minimum diameter rocket to fit a D-class motor. I ended up making that rocket my focus for the flight instead of the rocket you saw at the beginning of this video. I still flew that rocket, but it was not my main focus. It's good that I did that too, because the July launch ended up being a bit more disorganised than I expected. The club was having difficulties with their launch controller, so by midday some of the flyers had brought out their own launch controllers, and I was lucky enough for those flyers to let me fly with those instead. Because of the struggles with the launches though, I got limited footage, mostly from some friends that were with me on the day. So with that, let's get rid of this time lapse and get into the minimum diameter D launch. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory from those videos, but that minimum diameter rocket went really well. Simulations put it at an altitude of about 400 meters, but I have no idea if it got there because there's no computer on board. It looks like it went pretty high though. Next up, the original design I mentioned from the start of this video. This rocket was running a C6 motor.
4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Lovely straight flight. There. Arced over. We got the cone is out.
This launch went wonderfully as well, with my 3D printed centering rings keeping my fins super aligned, leading to a very straight flight. Now, I might have lied earlier when I said the minimum diameter D launch went well. Both that launch and this launch suffered from a chute deployment failure. Despite this though, Tumbling still recovered both rockets safely with minimal damage. I'm pretty sure the cause of this chute deployment is largely because my chutes are tied to the shock cord, not directly to the nose cone, so they're not being pulled out with enough force during deployment. I've already got some design ideas to fix this for my next flights. Speaking of flights, I have some plans. First, I want to make a custom launch controller to bring on launch days in case the club continues to have controller problems. Second, I want to make a flight data recorder with an Arduino to stick inside my rockets for data collection. Finally, I want to try a fun little idea for a minimum diameter 3D printed half A motor rocket. It should make for a cheap and cheerful rocket that still goes pretty high. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy what I'm doing, and tune in next month for another rocket update.